Thank you, Stuart and Alistair, for that rallying call. I think I'm handing over now to Helen and Whitney. Whitney, first of all, I guess to shift things a little bit, we've talked a little bit about the sort of skills that you need to engage with social investment. Whitney and Helen are going to talk for a very specific case about how you go about recruiting the right trustees and the right board in some of these instances.
Thanks, Geeta. I think Helen and I are very conscious that we're standing between you and your next cup of coffee or cup of tea. So we will keep this brief, but this is about really pulling this all together, about finding trustees and having the right governance in place. I work for the corporate finance team of Trustees Bank. So Trustees Bank is one of the leading sustainable banks in Europe, and we have a dedicated corporate finance team. And we advise charities and social enterprises on raising capital. And that can be in a number of different ways. We've been privileged to work with Alistair and his team at Golden Lane Housing on helping them raise a charity bond. We've also worked with charities and social enterprises when they've wanted to bid on a payment by results contract. And that's the example that we're going to talk through here today. And then we've also helped organisations talk to some of the unsecured lenders in the market and actually help them just put in place a package of finance that's suitable for them. So I guess the main message about raising social investment is there's lots of different options out there, and it's really about finding what is most suitable for your organisation. We worked with a charity called Sheffield Futures who wanted to bid for a payment by results contract with the Department of Work and Pensions. And Helen can tell you a bit more about what Sheffield Future does in more detail, but really it was about working with young people aged 14 to 16 to improve their educational outcomes. And this contract, which they bid on and which they won, which is a £4.5 million contract, the way in which they chose to structure it was through the creation of a social impact bond. Now, it's probably quite important to say at this point that a charity can win a payment by results contract and then choose to deliver that in a number of different ways. It doesn't necessarily follow that you have to do it through the creation of a social impact bond. And all that a social impact bond is, it's just a vehicle to take the risk away from the charity that's delivering the contract. So I know there's a lot of jargon, but that's basically the essence of what that is. But what that means is because you're creating a new vehicle, there's new governance requirements. And in our experience in the corporate finance team at Trustees, we've advised and structured 6 of these social impact bonds to date. Having the right chair for that new vehicle that's created is absolutely crucial, because that new vehicle is really the delivery mechanism, and it needs a couple of different people in order to do that. There's the charity who's going to do the frontline service delivery and who's really going to deliver the impact. There are the investors who are providing the working capital so that the charity doesn't have to do it off its own balance sheet. And then there is the commissioner who's going to pay for the outcomes once they're created. And so the role of chair within that organisation is really key in terms of managing all of these relationships. Now, on the 6 that we put together before this one, we were able to either recommend a potential chair, or the charity itself had its own relationships, and some of them did their own sort of internal process to find the right candidate. Others, such as P3 that we worked with up in the Midlands, they did their own recruitment process. In this instance, in Sheffield, we teamed up with Trustees Unlimited, and it was our first time working with them. And we had a very good idea of the kind of candidate that we thought we needed based on our experience. Trustees Unlimited and Emma and Ian had lots of experience of going out and recruiting candidates. And so, the two working together, we really feel like we found, the most appropriate person, and we're confident that in Helen, no pressure, we found the right person. And I think Helen is now just going to tell you a little bit more about her experience, I guess, of being headhunted or recruited, and then also about that experience of being in an organisation where it's clear that the social investment bit of it is quite critical, because Futureshapers, who's the vehicle, has investors who've only invested in that single contract. So there really is this sort of laser-like focus, I guess, on delivering outcomes, creating social impact, and then for the investors ensuring that they're getting both their financial return and their social